text. Not because he's rigid, because he simply always walks through the door before dinner's even ready. So when my phone buzzed at 5:15 with "running late tonight, babe, save me a plate, love you," I didn't smile. My stomach turned to ice. 3 things were wrong. He never runs late. He never calls me babe. He's called me by my name for 11 years and teases people who use pet names. And he always signs off with our private little thing, a single X. Every text since we were dating. There was no X. I texted back, light as I could make my thumbs go, "Sure, drive safe, X." I waited. The reply came fast. "Will do. Love you lots. No X." Again. I set the phone down on the counter very gently, like it might go off, and that's when I heard it. A floorboard upstairs. We don't have an upstairs creak like that unless someone heavy is moving slow, trying not to be heard. My husband was supposedly stuck in traffic across town. My 2 kids were in the living room watching cartoons, and someone was walking around above my head. I didn't scream. I don't know how I stayed calm, but I did. I walked into the living room, scooped up my 4-year-old, took my 8-year-old by the hand, and whispered that we were going to play a hiding game in the bathroom, the quiet kind, the best ever kind. I got them in, locked the door, ran the bath tap so it sounded like an ordinary evening, and called 911 from the floor with my hand cupped over my mouth. My husband sent me a text that he'd never send. I breathed. He's pretending to be late. There's someone in my house upstairs. I think whoever it is has his phone. The dispatcher was gentle, careful. "Ma'am, is it possible your husband is just..." He signs every text with an X. 11 years. There's no X. He'd never call me babe, and I can hear footsteps upstairs while he's supposedly in traffic. Please, someone has his phone and is texting me so I don't get worried and call him. There was a pause. Then, "Units are on the way. Stay quiet. Stay where you are." I stayed on that bathroom floor with my babies, my hand over my little one's mouth so his giggling wouldn't carry, listening to the footsteps come down the stairs. Slow, deliberate. They stopped right outside the bathroom door. The handle turned. Locked. A man's voice I didn't recognize said, soft and awful, "Come on out, sweetheart. It's just me." It was not my husband. My 8-year-old looked up at me with huge eyes and I pressed my finger to my lips and held them both so tight. I have never prayed harder in my life than I did staring at that doorknob jiggling, the wood flexing as he leaned on it. Then sirens. Far, then close, then everywhere. The handle stopped. Footsteps ran for the back. Glass shattered somewhere. Shouting. Boots. A crash that shook the whole house. And then a calm voice through the bathroom door. "Ma'am, it's the police. You're safe. You can open up now." They had him face down on my kitchen floor. A stranger who'd broken in through the back while I was starting dinner, found my husband's spare phone charging on the counter, and used it to keep me calm and in the house. He'd been waiting upstairs for me to come up alone. My husband's truck screeched into the driveway 4 minutes later. The real text he'd never sent had still pinged his actual phone, and he'd called the station in a panic from the road. He came through that door white as a sheet, and I put both kids in his arms and finally let myself shake. Later, an officer asked how I'd known so fast. I told him about the X, 11 years of one little letter at the end of every message. The officer just looked at me and said, "That letter saved your family's life tonight." My husband held me on the kitchen floor and pried into my hair. 11 years, he kept saying. "I never knew you were counting." I was. I always was. When my husband texted me, "Running late, save me a plate," I locked the kids in the bathroom and dialed 911. For 11 years of marriage, my husband has come home at exactly 5:40 every single night. He doesn't text first. He doesn't run late. He's the kind of